Greetings. This is a sermon titled, The Weight of the World. Beat writer Allen Ginsberg once wrote that poetry is that time of night, lying in bed, thinking what you really think, making the private world public. The same can be said of worship. So let us bring into this space of light, seated in community, our commitment to be with one another, openly, in search of deepest worth and meaning. Our reflection reading is a poem by Allen Ginsberg titled Song. The weight of the world is love. Under the burden of solitude, under the burden of dissatisfaction, the weight we carry is love. Who can deny? In dreams it touches the body, in thought constructs a miracle. In imagination anguishes till born inhuman, looks out of the heart burning with purity, for the burden of life is love. But we carry the weight wearily, and so must rest in the arms of love at last, must rest in the arms of love. No rest without love, no sleep without dreams of love. Be mad or chill, obsessed with angels or machines, the final wish is love. Cannot be bitter, cannot deny, cannot withhold if denied. The weight is too heavy, must give for no return, as thought is given in solitude in all the excellence of its excesses. The warm bodies shine together in the darkness. The hand moves to the center of the flesh. The skin trembles in happiness. And the soul comes joyful to the eye. Yes, yes, that is what I wanted. I always wanted. I always wanted to return to the body where I was born. This year, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Smithton will be celebrating its 150th anniversary, celebrating its founding in 1860. Now, entering our doors, one might feel daunted by the rich history those years represent, the hundreds of souls whose essences have occupied this space, and the energy of heart and mind expended within these walls. The first time I entered this building, I immediately sensed the Universalist roots of this congregation, from the architecture of the structure to the warmth and friendliness of its members. I felt that sense of love, hope, openness that is central to the Universalist core. Also, one can hardly help but notice the impressive proclamation on our wall that God is love. Now that phrase derives from the 4th chapter of the first epistle of John, the apostle, which calls on us to love one another because God is love. The letter's author explains that God's love was revealed by sending His only Son unto the world, so that we might live through Him. Since God loved us so much, we also ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God, If we love one another, God lives in us, and his love is perfected in us. God is love, and those who abide in love abide in God, and God abides in them. Since the merger of the Unitarian and Universalist churches in 1961, congregations have wrestled with how we carry on the traditions of the founders of our distinct religious denominations within the new association. In modern times, I can well imagine people attending services here pondering these words and wondering, what exactly do we mean in 2010 when we proclaim God is love from a Unitarian Universalist pulpit housed within a religious community founded in Universalist traditions? Do the words of an apostle nearly 2,000 years ago have meaning for us today? Now, the founders of this congregation likely agreed that God was the God of the Christian texts, the Father of Jesus, whose life and deeds brought the Word to the world. Today, however, God can mean many things to many people. And since our adult members were often raised in other religious backgrounds, we should consider the various definitions of this term for current and potential congregants. For some, God may still represent some version of the Christian God. And within that broad category lies a wide array of Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox, and other representations of God. For others, God may be Yahweh, who made the covenant with Abraham and imbued Moses with the power to part the waters. Some people may view God as Allah, who spoke through his messenger Muhammad, ever forgiving, ever providing, the Lord and cherisher of the worlds. Like many deist founders of this nation, one may consider God the instigator of the universe, the creator, but not a being involved in our intimate details of human history, and certainly not in our daily lives. Another, like the Hindu, may consider God the ultimate seed of soul stuff from which we ourselves emerge and to which we will someday return. And still others view God as actively manifest in nature, either here in the elemental components of our earth, or perhaps beyond to the nuclear core of suns and the endless vacuum of space.